Hi everyone, it's the Tell My Story podcast. Again, I am still in just complete shock that I'm here and I'm doing this. Yeah, it's just been crazy. It's been a whirlwind. There was quite a lot that came from the last podcast release, and I had quite a few messages, quite a few different questions, because I think after people obviously saw the Forest podcast, they were like, oh, I can ask her questions. Let's ask questions. And I'll be honest, I didn't write a lot of them down because a lot of them are being quite bitchy. And that's not what the podcast is for, to be bitchy. That's not what it's for. The podcast is to tell the truth. And that's why I've done it, because I think a lot of situations people don't believe, or they try and contradict, or they try and act like it didn't happen. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to start this podcast. I'll be telling people stories, I'll be giving advice, and I'll be talking about my truth because that's what really I started this from, was from my story, my truth, what happened to me. So yeah, I've written down again loads of, well, not loads, I've written down a couple of questions I got. I wrote down one, two, three, four, so five out of about 70 questions. Um, Literally, that's not even a joke. Literally. So I'll just go through them bit by bit, and again, and we'll have a chat, we'll have a talk, and we'll see what happens. So this a big question to start on, but let's do it. Why didn't you leave the first time? I did. And I think this is where it's really controversial. And this is where it's really tough, because people hear my story and they're like, well, why did you go back? And I'll tell the truth. I'll be honest. I'll be blunt, because that's what I do this for. I went back after the first time because I was in another DV relationship. I had left Che after he beat me up the first time when my daughter Shiloh was born. So this is in 2022. I left him and I started seeing somebody that I went to school with. I knew him really well. I'd known him for years, years and years. And he was coming to see me, and we were seeing each other, we were chatting, and after Che, I was damaged. Damaged probably isn't the word, but I was fucked up. So I fell straight into his trap, straight into it. And he was so abusive. I haven't even opened up about my story about him because it's another one of those situations that people actually, I don't think people would believe. But that ended really badly. That ended in him breaking into my house and beating me in my bed with a hammer. I've heard from people that are quite close to him that him and his girlfriend laugh about it. Cringe. But yeah, he beat me badly with a hammer. He then would sit outside my house in his car. He wouldn't leave me alone. It was getting quite bad. Beating me up with a hammer's bad, but it was getting really bad, stalker wise, really bad. And this is around the time that Che contacted me when the non-molestation order was up, and he'd contacted me for Shiloh. And I just fell straight back into Che's arms from the previous trauma of being in an abusive relationship with him, and then getting into another abusive relationship literally back to back. I was not mentally very well at all. And I regret a lot of that because I should have made better decisions. And I made some really poor choices. And I obviously got with people that ended up really hurting me. And I'll be real, I had social services involved, and, I'll sit and say I should have, damn right. I'd got into back to back abusive relationships. No, I didn't know the person that I started seeing after Che was going to be abusive, but I should have at least been cautious. I should have, I don't know, been careful. I should have had a brain, but I didn't. So social services were involved, which again, I stand by. That wasn't a good situation for Shiloh, and I get it. So, I'll be honest. Yeah, 100%. They should have been involved. I clearly needed some help. Clearly, it's hard for me to accept it, but I did, and I jumped through every hoop that I ever could have. Worked really, really hard with social services, like very hard, very hard. I was crying almost daily because it felt like I was on CCTV every single day of my life. That's what it felt like. It was horrible. And I hated myself. I hated myself. But social services knew that Che wasn't right. They knew he wasn't right. And that's my social worker. She tried so hard to get me to understand that. She tried so hard to wake my brain up. She'd remind me on visits that he wasn't there. Remember that he did this, and remember he did that. And, I was already in it all over again. So in love with him all over again. My body had like forgotten what he'd done to me. I was so in love. Like disgustingly in love. I'd done everything I could to please him. It ended up breaking me. But yeah, I had social involved. He then done what he did, and he beat me badly. And I worked very hard with social services. I kept my children. I had done every course you could think of, every course that's available. Parenting courses, domestic violence courses, safety courses. I admitted that I clearly needed some help if I was getting into those situations. I didn't want to end up in that situation again. So I worked very, very hard. Got a lot of support. Um, there was times where I didn't. Don't get me wrong. There was, rogue social workers that I can get into a story about because, you know, some of these social workers do not have people's best interest. Been there. Oh, trust me, I've been there. But when I got the right social worker, I got the support, got the help that I needed. Um, and after I left, got my restraining order, got input in prison, they closed my case because it wasn't me as a parent. It was the choices I made being with those abusive men, which again, damn right, that's what social services are supposed to do, protect children. That's what their job is. So kudos for them for actually doing their job. Um, and now, with all the, struggles my daughter has had, I have tried to self refer to social services a couple of times to get some support for Shiloh. Even the health visitor has tried to ask social services for some support for Shiloh. And every time they've turned me away, told me there's nothing they can do to support me, which is it's a nice feeling, but it's not at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice feeling because I never thought I'd get to that point, but at the same time, it's ironic, isn't it? Because they were on the ball when, say, I made bad decisions being with Che and this guy. But as soon as my daughter needed some help, they couldn't do anything about it. So yeah, I just thought that was a bit ironic. They said that I'd done everything that I needed to do. It wasn't me as a parent, it was Shiloh's trauma, which I've spoken about before. I'm not really going to get into again, but because of obviously what Shiloh's going through, but she's got amazing support. She's got amazing professionals that involved in our lives. So she's doing fantastically. Um, unfortunately, what set all the trauma off for her was us having to move around as much as we did, fleeing her dad. We were settled in one place and she was going to school, and then her dad would do something else and would have to flee again. Um, and we moved 4 times in 2 years. And now we've been here. She's been so settled. She's in school. She's got a good group of friends. She's going to like their birthday parties, and she's been invited to like sleepovers, and um, she's academically soaring. She's incredibly smart. She just she's got a few things that she just needs some support with. And again, after the stuff that's happened, damn right, damn right. And I take accountability for that. That's why every single day I do everything that I possibly can to try and fix everything. And that doesn't mean buying her all this stuff and all this. That doesn't mean that. It means on a day-to-day basis, me and Shiloh have got a very like mentally intimate relationship. We can connect mentally in ways that a lot of people don't understand. Shiloh uses cards to communicate properly, feeling cards, warning cards, danger cards, um, and those just help us on a day to day basis. She is an incredible, incredible little girl. She's an incredible sibling. I just need to help fix what her dad broke, me and her dad broke. So, and I don't like calling him her dad because he doesn't deserve that title at all. She's seen photos of him recently and she hasn't noticed that's him. She's like forgotten his face, which I am a bit hurt by because I never wanted that for her. Thankfully, Shavana's too young to even know who he is. And I know that sounds awful, but thank the Lord she doesn't. But you know, Shiloh has seen a photo of him and she's not said anything. And that is an overwhelming guilt, anger, sadness. And that is why I bust my absolute balls to give her and her siblings a good life. Because again, I've made some poor decisions by being with their fathers, you know. So that was a long answer to that question, so I'm so sorry, but yeah, that's why I did leave the first time, but it's really hard to I don't know. I was just not very well. I was not very well and I wasn't making the right decisions. And I made a very, very poor one. And it nearly cost me my life. So that's why I have created this account. That's why I do this. To make sure nobody else suffers the same fate. Make sure that nobody else makes the same decisions I have made. And use me as an example of not who you should be. And that's just why I do it. Anyway, let's carry on. Did you ever feel love for him? I don't really need to get into that, but yes, very, very much. Very much. Very much. I loved him very much. There was times I could see myself spending the rest of my life with him. But it wasn't real. It wasn't real. And I just wanted a family. A family that I never had. I wanted. He used to say to me, "We've got our dream." We had our two daughters. We lived in a really nice bungalow, big garden, nice car. And we thought we had it all. Well, I did. He knew it was all facade. I didn't. So deep in wanting to be loved by him. You know, Tough. I don't like remembering him. I don't like it. The next question. Is there any of your friends that believe him? They're not my friends. They wouldn't be my friends if they do believe him. But there has been a couple of people that don't believe my story and have gone onto that side, and that's okay. I'm not forcing anybody to believe me. I tell my story, I tell my truth. Um, and if people don't like it, they don't like it. That kind of is what it is, really. If you don't believe me, kind of, so be it, really. Yeah. Um, Danielle said you're a liar. What are you lying about? I don't know because I can't, if I'm honest, I can't even remember what I said in the podcast for her to say that I'm a liar. Um, it's probably just because that's what enablers and abusers do. They say that the truth is a lie. They don't like the truth. So they will just continue and say that that person is just lying. They're creating a smear campaign. Like, it's all bollocks. Whatever comes out of her mouth is fucking bollocks. And I've got the receipts to prove it anyway. So I saw a few things today, and I don't know if I got the photos on this phone. Yes, I do. So I have seen that Che's account on his social media now is under a different name, under the name Damon Venny. That's his name on social media now. And I just wanted to put that out there because abusers going by fake names are only to fool people, to lie. Um, his name is obviously on the exposed pages, and for people to get a Claire's law if they get involved with him. So the fact he's going by a false name shows that he is being sneaky. So I just wanted to get that out there. But I have also seen that one of his friends, and who is at the right front of his friends list, is Danielle. This account, from what I saw, had been made today. So she's accepted that account today. And if that, I don't know, but I don't know how I can be called a liar in that instance. That's not a lie. She does not care for the fact she is chasing around an abusive man. She's not interested in what anybody's got to say. She's not interested in anybody's safety. She's not interested in her child's safety, her friends, her family. Um, because from what the story she's told, um, he was having physical fights with her dad, and breaking up bonds with the rest of her family members like he done to me. So if that was true, I don't know. But, all I can do is warn people. And if that's not enough, that's not enough. What more can I do on that situation? Um, she doesn't want to listen. She wants to chase around an abusive man. If she wants to find out the hard way, she's going to find out the hard way, isn't she? Like, that kind of is what it is. She knows what's going to happen. And we all know why she's doing it. She's doing it for a baby, and we all know this. Um, and you know what? I feel bad for her. I do have some sympathy for her. I feel bad for her. Do you know what I mean? But that's not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it. Bringing more trauma onto another child by letting that man reproduce again is the wrong thing to do. That is the wrong thing to do. And I wouldn't normally say that because children are a blessing. Every child is a blessing. But do not bring more children and let him reproduce any more children that are going to have to deal with the pain and the aftermath of him. You know, I feel so bad for my girls that he is their father. I feel awful, you know. So I think she's got in her head that she wants a baby so badly. She'll do the easiest thing and she'll just sleep with Che, knowing that Che will. Because it's Che, for God's sake. He literally would, I reckon he would shag a worm on the floor. And that's no joke. I reckon he'd shag a beetle. Like, honestly. And I know how that makes me sound, but that's me being honest. The bloke doesn't care. I genuinely think he'd put it in an exhaust or something, but um, you know, it's not the way to do it. Traumatizing more children and yourself, for that matter, and yourself. You know, there'll be some time in the future where you meet someone and you be happy and you settle down and you actually have a baby that you're in a position for, and you know, with a father that actually doesn't abuse the mum. Because I'll be very real, if you think he's not going to do that to you, you're so mistaken. And I actually feel a little bit bad for you. I pity you, to be honest, because I feel like you know that. And I don't know why you're doing it, to be fair. Like, I've seen some of the comments you put on April's TikTok about abuse and stuff like that. And I don't know, you're just being really neglectful, I think, and really selfish, because this will not be benefiting your daughter. I know what he's like, and I know what you're like, unfortunately, and I know what you two are like together. Um, that's not healthy for your daughter. It really isn't. And I truly hope that you wake up and you put your child before your own lust, because that's, yeah. I think there was one more. Let me check. Yeah, there's one more. Will you ever talk about what happened to your son? Yes. Um, yes, I will talk about Austin. I will. I think I'm gonna do a specific episode for Austin because he deserves the time. He deserves the truth. And yeah, I had to unfortunately report something today because um I got sent something today, and I just wanted to share this because I keep getting told, you know, he keeps saying that my son is safe and my son is this and my son is that. Um, I don't think my son is safe. And I haven't for a long time believed my son is safe. I just got a well good snapshot of that. So I just wanted to do that. I don't believe he is. And I have already applied back to court. The courts are backlogged to hell. So I've been on the phone to social services almost daily at the minute. But I'm not even gonna, because I'll just say it how it is because I don't care. This is my podcast, say what I want. I got sent this photo. And if anybody can see that photo, that is Austin's father. Okay? That's Austin's dad. And if you could see what is on Austin's dad's lap, it's a plate with what I believe is either ketamine or cocaine on, and it's been posted publicly, which I think is just fucking insane, considering they claim to be sober and perfect parents. So I have got a lot to say about my son, but for the minute, I have to do the right thing, and I have to just keep building up. I need to go to the court date when I get my court date with my folder of evidence that I'm going to slam on the desk when I get in. It's one of those situations that has traumatized me so bad that when I think about my son, it makes like the hairs stand up on my body. Like it makes my whole body shake. I miss him more than I miss him very much. I'm gonna hold it together because I'm strong. I miss him very, very much. Very much. I've had to see quite some photos of my boy that made me see that my boy isn't being taken care of properly. I have spoken to the relevant people because his girlfriend posts videos of all the children because she's got a child, they've got my son, and they've got a child together. And she posts like a video and it was loads of photos of like the kids. And she's put her name in big bold letters over my son's face, but not her kids. Not her kids, but my son's face. And like my son is in like her bios. Like I don't know, it just seems crazy to me. It seems absolutely crazy to me. It really does. Really does. Because yeah, I'm not gonna get too much into my son because I'm just not right now, but I'm working very hard with the relevant people to get the right stuff done. Um, you know, with a lot of different things. I'm working very, very hard. Um, and yeah, yeah, that's hard to talk about. It's really hard to talk about. It makes me angry. It makes me really angry and sad. And yeah, let me check if there's any. Nah, there's not. I just think in these situations, like in many different situations, abusers come in so many different forms. Um, someone you never could have thought would do that comes in forms of family, friends, relationships, professionals, teachers, doctors, dentists. There was something I wanted to quickly talk about while I was on here. I saw this earlier and it was on Instagram. Let me get it up because I'm pretty sure I saved the video because I wanted to share it with you guys because I just couldn't. believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe what I was actually hearing. There was a podcast or like something of these domestic abuse, these guys that have committed domestic abuse talking about their side of things on this podcast. And he reminded me so much of Che. I just wanted you to listen to a short part of this. And if you have got like serious domestic violence trigger, please stop watching now. Please just stop watching. Stop watching. Let me tell you how long it is. Stop watching for 1 minute 33 seconds. Okay, and I'm gonna start it in 3, 2, 1.
Just beat up my wife. It made me feel the adrenaline, and I don't know what caused me to feel like that, but I felt like I was the man. We had to put it in a week frame. 7 days out of the week, I beat her 5. I kicked her in the face, punched her in the face, pulled out her hair. I struck her nose, and she started leaking blood really bad. Made her clean up her own blood. I wouldn't laugh. I'd be like, ha 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 ha. Like, how do you like it? Like, insane shit. Like, I would be insane sometimes. Like,
This is Sean. I met him through a project for domestic violence perpetrators in Kansas, which he completed a few months ago. He is still trying to understand why he acted this way.
with someone you have emotions with when there's love, I feel like it's like a dice. You don't know what side it's going to land on. I just go from happy to I want to beat you up.
Then don't be in a relationship.
So bad. After arguing and after the fights, did I feel superior? Did I feel, like I just did some type of drug? I'm in my house, so nobody's really going to tell me anything. I don't know. It feels like America's phrase, land of the free, even though I just beat up my wife. It made me feel the adrenaline, and I don't know what caused me to feel like that, but I felt like I was the man. We had to put it
Do you know what I've got to say? Bullet to the head. That's what I've got to say. That is how he can sit there and so fluently talk about the way he battered the life out of his wife multiple times and how inferior that made. There is no rehabilitation. Okay? I do not know how to say this any clearer. That man is going to kill somebody. Okay? I do not know how clear I need to say that. He is going to kill somebody. Somebody that can sit there and talk about what they did to somebody that violent. He needs putting down. Okay? I hope the wife is okay. I've not done my research because I heard it and I just thought I can't. So I have not done my research, but I hope she is okay and she is safe and she is the fuck away from him. But the way he speaks about that, Chase speaks about it. And that's terrifying. That's fucking terrifying. You're not human. Genuinely not human. How you can do that to somebody and so fluently talk about it. That is horrendous. Horrendous. I will share her Instagram so you guys can go and have a look if you really would like to do that. But it's Dia Khan. Hold on, stupid ring light. Dia Khan. Go have a look at her Instagram. She's got loads of different videos. I just, I can't because, yeah, I, that is shocking to me. Disgraceful, disgusting, shocking. I can't. Horrendous. So, yeah, no. But I am going to conclude this, guys, because I literally record before I done this one, I recorded a story, and that ripped me off as it was like that really done me. And then I literally had 5 minute break, and I jumped on here and I done this with you guys. So I need to come off and get some sleep and chill my brain, process everything that's happened in this podcast, what I've spoken about, because like I do show the strength of supporting everybody, and I really struggle to support myself sometimes. So I need to notice that my mental health now is protecting me. With me having CPTSD, it's now protecting me. I'm starting to dissociate. I don't know if you guys can see a complete change in my attitude and my behavior, but after a while, I start to dull. My eyes start to close, and I start to, the wall comes up, and that is my brain telling me I've had enough. That's my brain protecting me of me having an episode or not being able to cope with much more. So I need to listen to my body, and I need to listen to my head. My head's telling me I've had enough, and I've traumatized myself and triggered myself quite a bit this evening. So I hope you guys have enjoyed another episode of Tell My Story podcast. I can't believe you sat and listened to me again for another nearly hour. If you guys want to ask more questions, like ask away, I will answer them. The next podcast, obviously, I'm going to be telling people stories in a separate podcast. They're going to have an episode to themselves just for that respect. They'll have their own. So when I come on and I have a chat, I will just literally be going over things that people have asked me. I'll be going over my experiences, how I got out of situations, things I've done, and the consequences that I've had to deal with. You know, I'm quite real, open and honest about this stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for sitting with me and listening with me. Honestly, I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.